Everybody say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. Say, Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. So Lord, you are, you're my everything. Say, I call you Jireh. You're my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. Are you ready, everybody? All right, listen. What to say?
Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, depending on your location. This is another beautiful day, and we're coming your way with BWF Solicitors Legal Hour. My name is Manyeti. And then so adom ne ahweye nti no twede ampon adaroma ye de dwumedie ebremo megidi se baby biara wo ho ye na se wo ho ye dia mesre we ni die mu bomodia na kayen ho 56 up to just 11 sharp na yededwumedie no abawie na na nsem etwetwegu nsem ekọ nyoma esen ewiase benkra mu ne yewe nanso ne nyina mu no se wo nyankopon a wo ndaso na unya BWF Solicitors nso a na kire se wo legal nsem nyina edadin enti na enne omakeka omo na yemfa sa adwumedie embrel baby biara wo ankrankra bi a wotie mesre we ni die mo bomodea se onya join me na wa share program no ama na efefefe se ne be ya foforo nso benya eho emfaso yo ene eda ne ewo ema wo ansa na meti ho no mesre ni die mo bomodea share program ne ma wo amabaso nyina me ma good morning baby biara mo me ma mo nyina me chiechia mo nyina medical afre me resource person na onfa nchi akese embre etiefo na ahwefo na afede nkoma ene ye wo no ma sha ase na ma biebie mu nkakra na afede dwumedie no ato aso nti lawyer Eunice me ma good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayeti. I hope so. Oh, yeah. You're looking beautiful in your pink as
Thank
usual.
you. Thank you. Thank
Provincia it's for ne ashe phone so.
you.
Ne da munina asese ende de mabeka yensa. Ya bompa ese munina mo ye ya rade abom ho ban ende motumi abeka yensa. And their discussion very very fruitful, but answer na ebe bie nyema mu Now, my mom will just a little bit of updates in regards to Yema Kokoso, and then we can go on further with our subject for today. I know say for a booking appointments there's a should I say a note of no availability when it comes to your UK applications now. UKVI, which is our UK Visas and Immigration for no edikan aka say change company now bought nkrofon no into they're changing from superior stereo to TLS contacts into TLS contacts for no and now take over biometric appointments from the 15th of this month into no sano so oh yeah obia for instance why your application now unya appointments just know say TLS are going to be taking over from the 15th into they are obviously making sure say superior stereo for no appointments no we booking up to the 15th no ebe wie answer na TLS contacts for no take over. So of course that explains the reason the entire appointments enya available from now up to the 15th of October of this month. But hopefully, which is next week, they should open up the systems for Nkrofo to book appointments from next week onwards. And then also in regards to Nkrofo, for instance, meaning say when it comes to our BRP cards and also so last week na me yeah on topic. Those who are traveling out of the UK into those who are EU nationals, more can I think say EU nationals ne omo no because government naka say obi anye e visa no e wo mo adwin say say mo ye but ente sa into so oye obi a unya won krata e free EU settlement scheme na say which is pre-settled status and now say settled status patro mo ka sa e visa no ho mɛsan abɔ so bio nti sɛ woyɛ obi te sɛ EU national anaasɛ EU ebusuani anaasɛ wonya wo nkrataa under the EU settlement scheme patwɔ bebree wonka visa no ho nti wobɛtumi atu kwan wobɛtumi ayɛ biribiara te sɛ sɛnya first na mokɔba no moyɛ no nti monka saa visa wei visa no yɛ for nkurɔfoɔ a non-British nationals anaasɛ non-EU nationals a to kurom ha a ɔmotumi access ɔmo status no online. They are the ones who are supposed to register for this UKVI account. And I know say ebinom wɔ hɔ a especially EU nationals na ebia ɔmo de ɔmo pre-settled and as settled status atum no. Sometimes because there is nothing in the law that prevents them from traveling outside of the UK if their application is being processed. Until sometimes they are able to travel and come back. But I think say UKVI for no who say nkurɔfoɔ de free settled status etum and as settled status etum now munya COA and only some way to kind of masayaba. But they want I think reduce the number of people who are traveling under this COA and I say certificate of application na omwenya no to say they will no longer be able to travel as freely into usually nkurɔfoɔ na ɔmowɔ immigration rules na say anaasɛ nkurɔfoɔ na ɔmowɔ leave to remain wɔ UK kurom ha so the application to my debi a yɛka sɛ ntumi nto kwan because application no is being processed and so they've introduced this for those who are also EU national family members also so and they are trying to make sure say as much as possible say will pre-settled status and buy and I say will settled status and buy dear then you should be able to obviously wait for it to be decided and sign a will be to quite into that is also a word of caution for EU nationals are almost trying on pre-settled and I say on settled status will chrome her into Yeweja no Hana Yatwaso with the main program.
Yo, La Eunice, midasine, biometric for na yakani someone. Omo kita like initially di nkomo omo kita permanent yatro permanent residence omo refi omo ho say also omo ye yakani sen EV enye say EV omo ye pre-settled and now settled status no omo feel say permanent resident no eno a omo nso no yakani say omo nso also omo ye EV visa ni bi and also omo kokoye pre-settled na ansa na omo abeye settled status as omo ye visa no.
Yes, in regards to from what EU settlement scheme national,
Mhm.
omo ye application no, especially I know say omo kasa na omo ye dia, they will have to do the application online, and the EU settlement scheme application is such that say oh yeah, immediately you know say they are going to require you to do your facial identification, photo, sa inyama no. Into with that no, as soon as your decision comes, and I say as soon as omo ama osa settle status no, you'll be able to view your status online because of the way omo aye the whole online process. Into those under the EU settlement scheme no, the government was able to see say because they made the application such that as soon as omo decision beba no, you'll be able to view your status online, and until no more really sa e-visa way ama obi biara aka no, because they've seen how it has worked well for those under the EU settlement scheme. And see, especially so biometric card actually permanent residents near old EU regulations. Into current EU settlement scheme national, you need a biometric card that says EU settlement settled status. Into your application na and one say or said now what permanent residence ebi omo bre or letter ne say unya wo permanent residence ebia January 2018 into omunya eno na omo de sa settled status and as a indefinite leave to remain under the EU settlement scheme no amount. But no say almost so edikaka say when you are given that status you'll be able to view your status online, but card no, they want to now phase out the cards by 31st of December 2020, and they don't want to renew cards for Nkrofua ebia omo here replacement cards into almost say by the 31st of October no, they will not be issuing any more replacement cards since it's a ABR. Oh yeah, obi a ukita sa residence card now person EU settlement card nibia. They will not be issuing it after 31st October. And now say we card ayora into because so card na yera into oh person almost send a new one. And also sign on so they will not be issuing those biometric cards by the end of 31st of October. Into those people, you will be able to do the application, but you may not be able to get a card. But because why your application into wait to me view status no online without a biometric card into so permanent residence now call your application now, automatically you'll be able to view your status online without a new biometric card.
I see. And yet, or said, Ododo na yen shannon so na yen na sa biometric ni is be say, and Crawford be some wassom. Yo, Eunice, you better see ma update out there my na ene yebeko ye main topic. So nansana yebeko so no. Mebo mon crack it sway be producer me mom cry be a kakrebi mo hwehwe ye kira kwan a baby am be hu ye ne dwumadi a ye enti me twa me ho sima me ba ya na afia de new topic no abetudwa me ba sisia.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specializing in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specializing in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Yo, medamo nyina se se manyamre na matwen me. Ebekọ ye main topic so enne. Na ye ka ye nsem you know say ba ye mame lawyer Eunice na ye kan ye yu asem a ye ntumi yi ne mfiri mu. Ye yu question biara efa ye yu busuafo ho, efa Brexit ho, efa the European National Family na some members ho a ene emeka se lawyer Eunice was dorimo so kro papa. Interne no ya sa kofa EU samsam yi bia san aba. Na yembe bisa no ene se ye ka se mre bi a atwa mu Brexit mu ne ade aban no mankrofo grace period ade ba kwa me pe wo UK na se UK immigration ho no omo nipa na omo pese de bia so tutu nneoma yie enti se omo twa ebre bi kra se ebre we untumi nye we biem kra to de bia bi wo ho a omesa ma wo grace period kakra na wodi atoto nneoma yie ebia ne ama a month bi ana 2 months bi ana 3 ana 6 months bi mpo na mo de aye ye nneoma eno mo a ne se abra ye bo hu de ro Brexit ebetwa mu yi na enye Brexit mpo no na dodo na ebi ukita permanent resident ebi kita pre-settle ebi kita settle status na ade ebeye trese ebeye edin bi adodo bia no wo pre-set ana wo settle set trese wo adamfo bi a wo ka yi obusuan wo pe na trese o ye pre-set ana se settle set ebe ye nwom edodo dankrofo ano na trese de boye hu dewro na obia nkoye no settlement status no na up to now me jidik say dodo na nyoma ekoso yi sebio ebi mu kra mu nim bebie edu afa na ebi mu omo hu say say me kra me nya me presettle no me nya ye enti se me nya ye dia me ye den grace period de me nyina no emre no kọ nanso no aban no owo nhihye ma obia yenhwe internet ye question ye pese ebisa ne say can my pre-settled application be rejected even though I'm a family member of an EU national? Ebeba ne sen na obi be bisa sa question we. Eno na mpese ene mini lawyer Eunice. Bintin mo ne nchechiri mo. Adenti na obi be bisa sa question yi. Nkrofo bisa nso na epese ne ye mamomwa. Nti lawyer Eunice, me sa to me nsa afra obiom. Ebe den na me pre-settled application no ma to me boasia aye ne kama na memia na chi se onko home office no onko twe me nkrata ambre me na afi me nso menya pre-settled ne bi ifri ho na afi menya me settled status na afei ho abɔ me sɛ ɛkɔ a home office for bɛ reject because mbia na mmerɛ a yɛde maa sɛ yɛmfa nyɛ saa nneɛma no ɛni hɔ ɛbɛba ne sɛn ɛna me application ɛbɛ reject lawyer Eunice wadaroma kyerɛkyerɛ mu.
That's a bit for we'll be say. When it comes to your EU settlement applications, no, like you said, the dona ye bohu de rule into most people are on na first no kita residence card and as a permanent residence, no munim say it's almost from and no to pre-settled and I say settlement now settled status. Nti very recently obi frɛ me I will say oh na wetu kwan ɔba ɛna immigration officers ne bisa ne sɛ na dabe na ɔbɛyɛ ne settled status ɛna ɔsɛ onim krampo sɛ ɛsɛ ɔyɛ because na ɔwɔ permanent residence nti ɔdwen sɛ wɔnya afebɔɔ nti ɛnoa no ɛna ɔmo ka kyerɛ ne sɛ ɛsɛ ɔyɛ because nneɛma ɛsesa nti ɛno no ɔkae sɛ onim lawyer nti ma ne hwɛ lawyer no mbisa lawyer ne sɛ ɔbɛyɛ ne dɛn ɛna meka kyerɛ ne sɛ it is possible to do it but definitely no you have to explain why you are doing it late nti dodoɔ no bɛkae a Brexit no that was of January 2020 ɛna Boris Johnson UK free EU nim and then they said yeah, a transition period from January to the 31st of December 2020. Nti obi biara a ɔyɛ EU ni anaasɛ EU busuani a wɔto UK kurom ha no na sɛ wɔn sesa wɔn nkrataa to the EU settlement scheme because ɛnte saa deɛ a na wabɛyɛ obi a onni nkrataa wɔ kurom ha because almost sesa mbra no nyinaa for EU for nti ɔmo ka sɛ woyɛ EU ni anaasɛ EU ebusuani sɛ wotumi ɛsesa wo nkrataa no ɛba EU settlement status n'ase nti either sɛ wowɔ 5 years na yɛama wo pre-settled status anaasɛ wowɔ permanent residence na yɛama wo settled status anaasɛ indefinite leave to remain nti ɛno no saa no nkurɔfoɔ etumi sesa nkakra but no ɔmo nim sɛ by the 31st of December deɛ nkurɔfoɔ bebree ntumi ansesa no by that time nti ɔmo ma grace period te sɛ sɛnea wɔkaeɛ up to the 30th of June 2021 nti saa grace period no na ɔmo pɛ sɛ nkurɔfoɔ ɔmo yɛ EU foɔ anaasɛ nkurɔfoɔ no a ɔmo yɛ EU abusuafoɔ a ebi a ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo de ɔmo ho kafo anaasɛ ɔmo mba no ɛba no anaa krampo sɛ na at the time no yɛwɔ extended family members nti sɛ of course not that time no woyɛ EU ni a na wobɛtumi de wɔ extended family members abɛka wo ho nti they gave that grace period up to 30th of June 2021 sɛnya saa nkurɔfoɔ wei nyinaa no ɔmo bɛtumi asesa ɔmo nkrataa no to either pre-settled and settled status and then after the grace period ɔmo ka sɛ wentumi ansesa wo nkrataa no amba EU settlement scheme n'ase deɛ a ɛndeɛ it means sɛ saa time na yɛde maa wo no apa ho nti ɛyɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ deɛ nti a wentumi anyɛ application no by 30th June 2021 nti ebi a obi ɛpɛ sɛ ɔmo yɛ saa EU application wei bearing in mind before 2023 of August na government no sɛ ebi a waba as visitor na woyɛ EU nimpa ɛyere anaasɛ ekunu a they would have given you the opportunity to make an EU settlement application either pre-settled and as a settled status but as of last year no almost the same mbra no sɛnea woba hanom as a visitor wontumi ɛnyɛ saa application no kye sɛ wokɔ fie na wakɔyɛ application no as a family member of an EU national nti ɛno no saa no na dodoɔ na sɛ ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo ebusuafoɔ which is ɔmo yere anaasɛ ɔmo kunu anaa krampo sɛ ɔmo mba anaasɛ ɔmo awofoɔ no sɛ ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo de ɔmo ba a then they would have to make saa EUSS family permit application a ɛbɛma ɔmo 6 months to enter the UK In no sano, those family members no, you're from joining family members because ebia went to me and be removed by the 30th of June 2021. Inti omo no sano, omo be joining EU nimpa na oti UK Chrome ha ono no we ya ne pre-settled and ase we ya ne settled status ewo Chrome ha. Into the term used for them was joining family members, and then they took out extended family members because normal say they were making sure said they stick to the withdrawal agreement. Into Shishaya na omni EU for no edisono omo pese no no ena omo de ɛtete mbra no so na nkurɔfoɔ a wɔyɛ EU foɔ no na wɔn pɛ sɛ wɔn family members join wɔn no, it will only be close family members and I said direct family members. Into na yi extended family members efiri mu. Into either say ode wo ba, wo yere, wo kunu, wo nana anaasɛ w'abofoɔ ɛbɛba. Into ɛno no saa no na ehu sɛ wɔyɛ direct family member. Na relationship na mo wɔ no na ɛwɔ hɔ before 31st December 2020. Nti sɛ woka sɛ na woyɛ obi a woyɛ EU ni na wote kurom ha na wopɛ sɛ woyɛ saa application ɛma w'adɔfo anaasɛ wo abusuani na ɔjoin wɔ kurom ha deɛ a ɛndeɛ ɛsɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ sɛ ampa na wei deɛ ɔyɛ m'abusuani before saa 31st of December 2020. Nti ɛsɛ ɔbɛka me nsa ɛwɔ UK kurom ha. Nti ɛno no na yehu no as a joining family member. Na saa nipa wei otumi yɛ saa application no for family permit na ɔbɛwura UK kurom ha and there ɛsɛ otumi yɛ either pre-settled anaasɛ settled status application sɛnea ɔbɛtumi atena UK kurom ha. And bear in mind say woyɛ a yere anaa kunu anaasɛ ɛba na wobɛjoin saa EU sponsor no wɔ kurom ha a, they would usually want you to make the application before 6 months no ebewu. Of course, ebimo ebewura mu a omo wura mu just before 6 months no ebewu. I remember some your application ne ma a baby of EU national. Na akola no, I think say no university. And due to COVID no, na education system na sesa. Inti it became an educational period of January to December. Nti saa time na ɔmode 6 months ne maa no na ɔda so wɔ school. Nti na ɔpɛ sɛ ɔwie year no ansa na waba. Nti the 6 months na ɔmode maa no, I think say ɛka just about 1 or 2 months ansa na ɔba UK kurom ha. Nti ɔbaeɛ no na aka bɛyɛ 3 weeks or so on ne 6 months family permit na ɔmode maa no. Nti no obisa say sisi a waba yi deɛ ɛyɛ sɛ ɔyɛ den ɛna meka kyerɛ ne sɛ he has to have the pre-settled status done because so ɔtoa so with school anaasɛ ɔyɛ adwuma anaasɛ ɔyɛ biribi biara a he will need saa pre-settled status sɛnea ɔbɛtumi atena kurom ha. And he was now over the age of 21. Nti ɛno no saa no meka kyerɛ ne sɛ sisi a wadi 21 deɛ he's supposed to show evidence of dependence in nkeka ho no. Nti by the time I'll get it back to me no na ne family permit na ɔmode maa no ewu. And so we had to now give reasons the nti the time or yeah Sikana said the time or yeah prepared so be pre-settled application no I didn't see anything or yes application need late. And so on the pre-settled status application form and I say EU settlement application form no, they will always ask you, were you here before the 31st of December 2020? Normal saying Bissau, were you here before the 30th of June 2021? Then they'll ask you, who you're a family member of an EU national. Now decide dates in Ashishim. Then they'll ask you, were you did you enter the UK before or after the 31st of December or the 30th of June 2021? Nti na wode saa answers wei nyinaa ahyehyɛ mu. But wohwɛ yɛ appendix EU family permits and anaasɛ appendix EU of the immigration rules na se a, it talks about the fact that when it comes to nkurɔfoɔ a wɔyɛ saa applications wei, ɛsɛ sɛ wɔtumi kyerɛ sɛ wɔyɛ saa applications no as a valid application. Nti usually a valid application will mean say so to me kyerɛ sɛ nimpa na ɔyɛ application no watumi follow the right application process nti ɔyɛ online application. So to me kyerɛ sɛ ɔwɔ ne passport anaasɛ ne identification of nationality ne ɔno ankasa ne details, which is the identification. And then they have to also show, say, when it comes to the application now, so they are able to show, say, your biometric appointments are no kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo abɔ ɔmo nsa ano anaasɛ ɔmo atwa ɔmo anim. And then they are also able to show, say, when it comes to the application now, they are making it by the required date. Into required dates, no, wohwɛ definitions na ɔmo under your annex 1 of your immigration rules, no, it shows that required dates, there are so many specific dates. But when it comes to the required dates, they are looking at obia ebia oberemu either before the 30th of June 2021. Inti so oberemu before that time, you should have made an application to show say na of course a family permit. But ebia because of one or two reasons, Ninti went to me and your applications. We'll look at the reasons why it be a nipakona into me and your application. But in terms of required dates, no, say uba before 30th of June, dear, then you should have a reason why sisi a over your application, no. And now Crampo say sisi a waba after the 30th of June 2021. But because of the fact say we family member of a British national, ebia na mote EU kuro foforɔ so. Nti momo saa no, because yɛma mo extra time sɛ mobɛtumi aba no, ɔmo deadline of the 8th of August 2023. Nti wobɛwura mu before the 8th of August and I said by the 8th of August 2023 into your application no, to show that now we a family member of a British national under the Serendipity principle. And I say a na we will be our derivative rights into not all your application, but now we say so we application no before April 2021. And then there's another date of the 1st of January 2026 into ABIA or your application no ama we be saying abedjoin no. Na so to me say oh yeah application no before the 1st of January 2026. Into there are so many required dates, but they expect say ube to me actually say either say na your application no ebia or reasonable reason the nti a woyɛ saa application no late anaasɛ waba kurom ha a wonim sɛ sɛ wonya nkrataa ɛde yɛ deɛ sɛ woyɛ no woembisa mu but wonya nteaseɛ sɛ wobɛtumi ayɛ application no because obi ka kyerɛ wo sɛ time wom nti wobɛtumi ayɛ. But in terms of nkurɔfoɔ a wɔba a after the 30th of June 2021 there was no time for them to say now nim because sɛ wɔasesena bɛwu wɔ kurom ha obi anim sɛ ɛsɛ wotumi yɛ foforɔ sɛnea wɔasetena no ngu wɔn nsam. Nti ɛno no saa no they gave reasons a ɔmo dwen sɛ yɛ reasonable a wobɛtumi akyerɛ sɛ okay ampa because what reasonable reason nti yɛbɛtumi ehu sɛ okay yɛbɛhwɛ wɔ application na yɛde asetena no ama wo. Nti one of the reasonable reasons a ɔmo gidi sɛ ebia nipa korɔ no entumi anyɛ application no by the deadline of 30th June 2021 and they say ebia nipa krono na ya oyakola nti saa akola no ne mame anase ne papa enim say oyɛ saa pre-settled anase settled status application nti ɛno nti ntumi anyɛ. That could be a reasonable reason. Anaa krampo sɛ ebia nipa koro yi a ɔyɛ application no na ɔyɛ vulnerable person nti ebia they were going through abuse nti wɔntumi anyɛ application because wɔasisi ne passport ne ne documentation nti na ɔntumi anyɛ saa pre-settled anaasɛ settled status application. Anaa krampo sɛ ɔyɛ yarefoɔ nti na ɔntee koraa mpo sɛ ɛyɛ sɛ ɔyɛ saa EU settlement scheme application nti wobɛtwerɛ evidence of the fact sɛ na woyare nti wontumi anyɛ saa pre-settled anaasɛ settled status application no nso. And then when it comes to ebia obia, for instance, all permanent residents, this example na mema at the beginning, because no drains or wafibon into me anye, into obisa no, they will have that reasonable reason to give say no omo drains or more permanent in saying here. And now crampo say omo sa residence card 5 years nti no mu nim sɛ ɛsɛ ɔmo yɛ nti afei no mu hu sɛ ɛsɛ ɔmo yɛ nti ɛno nso could be a reasonable reason. Anaasɛ obi a na ɔwɔ ebi leave to remain ebia ne maame ɛwɔ under the EU settlement scheme na sɛ but no ɔno nso wɔ leave to remain na onim sɛ sɛ otumi yɛ application no under the EU settlement scheme nti ɛno no saa no that could be a reason the entire went to me and EU settlement scheme no so. And now said nipa kono no were indefinite leave to remain under your immigration rules na say but sisi a wabɛyɛ family member of an EU national nti ɔpɛ sɛ switch it to EU settlement scheme na say nti obi sa no so that could be a reasonable reason the entire went to me and yes application no before the 30th of June 2021. And then there are those who, for instance, senior American said British nationals no multi EU no, because they gave them another grace period up to the 8th of August 2023. Ninti almost Sano will have that excuse because almost more time to be able to return and do those applications. Into those category of people, no, they will definitely have reasons the entire onwin to me any application not before the deadline of 30th June 2021. But say we obi na ebia wabeye application no ewo UK Chrome ha wakyerɛ sɛ ebia wentumi amfa wo pre-settled and settled status antumu before the time deadline ebia wodi kan yɛ application ɔmo refuse yɛ wosan yɛ biom because ɔmo say ebia wentumi ankyerɛ more evidence and because wosan yɛ biom no nti ɔmo say application na wayɛ no it was done after the reasonable time of 30th June 2021 and I said wobaeɛ no within 3 months no na ɛsɛ wotumi yɛ application wentumi anyɛ application no within the 3 months of you arriving into the UK nti ɛno no saa no yɛntumi ɛnka sɛ it is a reasonable reason deɛ nti a wode application no ɛto mu late nti bibi saa no then they expect say you'll be able to provide evidence of the reason the entire ABI one for application and 3 months within the time of your arrival. Nti ɛno no saa no ebia na woyare ebia na wonhyɛ da nnim because woyɛ akɔla a wo parents ase nti bibi saa no you have to show say na wonnim sɛ wotumi ɛyɛ saa application before that deadline. To say example na mema of saa nipa na meyɛ application no ma no whilst at university nti ɔno no saa no because he made the application after the EU family payments then we had to show that we were still making the application within 3 months of his arrival in Senono Sano. That was his reasonable excuse because Oba, he wasn't able to gather Inyama until he was able to settle into Sisia or your application, no, but he's made it within the 3 months no mama. And this is something that they've currently introduced in your immigration rules. Says, oh, to me, say, Oba ya pay within 3 months of entering the UK, wait to me, I will pre-settle status application. So when to me and here within the 3 months there and there was where she because they would want to know the reasons here when to me and here within the 3 months of you getting the family permit and also of you arriving into the UK. In Tenono Sano, you would have to provide them reasonable reasons. And they may give you
Mm.
a rejection if they feel say, eh, be reason now one man
And talk.
and talk in
That's
Brana
good.
in
Mm.
and no no they would reject it. So one reject yeah, it means
Mm.
say on one process the application acquire because you don't meet the reasonable reasons for a late
Mm.
application into
Mm.
application or more reject it. But you can obviously make
Make.
another application with evidence of the reasons Cynthia went to me and for application na anto mu ntɛm sɛ
Okay.
for administrative review so you can go ahead and then obviously apply for administrative review but say idea almost say still now reason now with the amano and yeah reasonable there then
Mm.
you can go towards the judicial review routes senya court no ebeshrim aka say okay reason now my no is reasonable now I say home office for no edutum nti those are the three options you have if they say well options no are not reasonable enough for them.
Okay. Aola Eunice, we the mema umfa nsuo kakra ngu mmiri mu na mama wakasa ache. Yo, yebeda si ye wacheche mu. Honestly, whilst you are educating us now, question be poppy up. Me want no answer question no. And you know, it's a good submission. Awama yehu from A to Z. What happens? Ube to me and I say wound to me. And I quite say when it comes to home office now, you can never or you cannot send an application, being it late or whatever, without evidence of it. And you
Yeah,
know, say evidence play vital role aha. This the timer or say ututu unyome ye na unya reasonable evidence I say ni ntino ena meant to me anya application no on time and answer in time. So because near wo cheche mu nyinaa yi sɛ mede my application first na yɛ reject a wanya aka kyerɛ sɛ home office ɔnhwɛ mpo ɛno ara sɛ ɔhwɛ wo reasons a wode bɛyɛ application afei na wobɛyɛ presettle no ne nyinaa reason a wode ama no ɛntɔ asom anaasɛ ɛnyɛ reasonable reason a ɔmo hwehwɛ anaasɛ ɔmo yɛ accept deɛ a na kyerɛ sɛ yɛnhwɛ application no koraa sɛ ɛhemfa na wotwerɛ wo din anaa woantwerɛ wo din straight away ne yɛ reject it. But the good news a wama yɛn ɛka wo ne sɛ ɛte biara no sɛ wosan kɔ w'akyi na afei wokɔtoto nneɛma yie wokɔhwehwɛ saa reasonable reasons na ɔmo hwehwɛ no a na ɔde ka ho deɛ a the possibility sɛ ɔmbɛtumi accept wo application no deɛ wobɛseɛ ɛbɛtɔ mu ama wo a likely sɛ ɔmode bɛma wo sɛ woanya reasons no nko a deɛ a ɔmode bɛma wo nti ɛhɔ no yɛbɛda wo ase wama yɛhu na mewɔ question kakra bi o tama a wokyerɛkyerɛ mu yi date deɛ wabobɔ bi saa required date no wabobɔ bi ama afei I lost track of it. Date a woma mmɛn nyinaa na kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ date bi a home office ankasa like ɔmoma 20th December 2020 30th December na 31st rather December 2020 ɛyɛ Brexit deɛ no sɛ wowɔ kurom ha dadadeɛ a na kyerɛ sɛ wobɛtumi aproceed with the application a wo joining member no ɛbɛtumi abɛka wo ho ne nyinaa wakyerɛkyerɛ mu even then now koraa sɛ wowɔ ha dada ansa na 2020 Brexit no final way no yɛde maayɛ no still a wobɛtumi joining families no ɛbɛtumi aba abɛka wo ho na wayɛ saa application no. Na interestingly wobɔ date bi ɛyɛ 1st January 2026. Ɔhɔ no manhyɛ da nte mu yie ɛka required date ne ho. Ɔhɔ no ɛdeɛ mpɔten na esi wɔ hɔ a sɛ wayɛ biribi before that anaa after that na afei ɛbɛma wogyinaeɛ ɛbɛyɛ shaky kakra. 2026 verse 1st January no wotumi kyerɛkyerɛ mu hɔ kakra ma me anka ɛbɛyɛ me da kakra.
Okay, so now make I say in regards to unconform applications for joining family members into family members to say oh wo kunu wo ba wo nana wo parents and say as ultimate say application no why application no before the 1st of January 2026 into no because why application no before that time no into you are making the application as a valid application because who meets
Okay.
our requirements no into that was what I was explaining.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yate aseɛ. Na kyerɛ sɛ woantumi anyɛ saa joining family member no by that date ne deɛ a anaasɛ wo application ɛndem by that date no a ɛdeɛ na ɛwɔ akyire na kyerɛ sɛ wonka yɛma wonyɛ yiyi application bio mu anaasɛ dɛn.
So I think the whole point is to bring those EU applications to an
To
end
an
by
end.
that date.
Okay.
Nti they expect say nkurɔfo
Mm,
a ɔmo ka sɛ ɔmo wɔ ebusuafo ɔmo wɔ fie ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo de ɔmo ba no
mm.
hopefully by that date no na ɔmo etumi ayɛ saa applications no by the 1st of January 2026 no yeah.
Wow. Yo, Lioness, ebesa adawasi biom wachichi mu ama nata sum. Mensh be a telephone line intem senior beya dodo na mu weche no mo pese mo bisa question bi a akwanda ho obetumi bisa. Nsheda maybe question na opese obisa no nsheda mfa ade we ho don't worry still no obetumi ebisa when it comes to the immigration matters, family law ne even young Ghanaian society young law mpo any litigations and mitigations ne ade nyinaa no when it comes to BWF on your no size they be a make no size you will other lawyers yes but omo ya de enti bomode ana journey na membie telephone lines ne entum wo question bi a na waba bebisa na lawyer Eunice akyerɛkyerɛ mu last week nso me hu sɛ nkurɔfoɔ still a yɛwie program na ɔmo frɛfrɛ sɛ wotie me na last week wowɔ ha na wɔ question na ɛna ɔpɛ sɛ wode question ne ba ɛkwan ɛda hɔ ɛma wobɛtumi yɛn telephone lines no mesi so lines mmienu no nyinaa yɛ adwuma ba baako wofrɛ baako no so a ɛbɛyɛ me dɛ paa ɛyɛ 073 99208468 no wofrɛ no so a ɛbɛyɛ me dɛ paa na ama yɛakɔ yɛn anim ntɛmtɛm na mensa mbɔ mo nkaeɛ sɛ mɛsa mbɔbɔ telephone numbers no bi ba mebɔ mo nkaeɛ sɛ when it comes to October a breast cancer awareness month. Na last 2 weeks me bon who de work kakra. Na this weekend so breast cancer into this month me she pink just to create the awareness. Say Emma do draw a man sunya breast cancer, but majority no Emma because yen no for no so kama. Enti no saa yare bɔne wei yɛyɛ awareness a yɛ na nkurɔfoɔ hu sɛ awareness bɛn dɛn na mo ka ne ade yɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛ kama yɛbɔ kɔkɔ sɛ yare bi saa ɛwɔ hɔ na mmom wobɛtumi asɔ ano ntɛm sɛ wohu ne ntɛm a enti no woyɛ ɔbaa na wotie me sɛbio wokɔdware a bɔ mmɔden anaasɛ woasɔre anɔpa mpo wode da hɔ flat na woafa wo nsa mmienu no anaa baako ɛyɛ ana nurses ne doctors no mokyerɛ sɛnea ɛyɛ no maybe I think before the end of the month no mea mɛbɔ naked ma kyerɛ mo sɛnea ɛyɛ no so hu adeɛ no wosɛ w'anufo no mu a na wamiamia ayɛmbiaa wohu biribi ɛyɛ like biribi ɛyɛ ɛnyɛ regular anaasɛ ɛnyɛ yɛka ne sɛn ɛnyɛ usual ɛmma wo anaa biribi kora ti w'adwene sɛ ɛdeɛ na esi me ha sɛ po bi anaa biribi it could be anything why not sɛ kɔ wode kɔ na kɔka kyerɛ doctor sɛ wode w'anufoɔ ɛredi agorɔ no ɛyɛ say wosa can be a ɛnyɛ usual enti no ɔmo check ɛnhwɛ ebetumi akɔ scanne na yehu say bibia na yetia no say ɛnyɛ hwe nso a I mean unluzo hwe bomode a nakɔhwɛ na yenyema say wo kunu wo ho ana wo boyfriend wo ho a ɔmo nso mbetumi kyerɛ se ne ɛyɛ no nsa miensa wei wo na wohwɛ nufo no mu na wo de miemia na wo hwɛ na wo de miemia menka se fe de agro se wo ho bɛyɛ daabi miemia na hwɛ obi a mama sere na hwɛ so na ayembia se bibia ana se impo emuya oya all of a sudden embia na enhye den do ma no embia wo ovulation ana se bibi endu ho ana se wo dates a unim whereby sometimes you have changes in your breast no endu ho na wehu feeling bi wehu anka bi when atinka bi ana se wetwanufuo nsuo nso no uda so wenufuo na nsuo nkitinkiti bi efi ano ede ba bomodia tem entwen wote se emoya oya kakra na emo aya odwi kakra na emo aya bra embia na enya ovulation na wo menstrual cycle na se bibia menua ba otie me bomodia ukohu GP na o me refer no akọ ne abebia scan no afenso me hu se aban no aye vintage places omode ye kan se van esisisi ho a uremu ho se ye hwe manwa ye betumi ahwa ama ne nyina ka awareness ne ho se ye create se ebehu na nkrofo etu ho anamontam nti mo hye ne so na ma na do station bi na library bi nchen ana bus stop bi nchen na van is ho a ye tro ho omo create breast cancer awareness na bomodia na bora ho na omo nhwe ma o metumi aye no snappy within 5 minutes and 10 minutes no ye betumi a check e de amount ne nyina no uhu ne ntem a ye betumi aso ano ntem sa na tie hu ne ntem ne nso ano ntem e ma ne ntete ne nkodu baabi na afi no na o se etwitwa wenufuo no egu enti no e kakra me ne be ebeka ho getting to the end of the program no menua ba lawyer Annie Oveba na the Potokasa mo English version abemaye na ono nso acheche ene adesua no na wa cheche mu obrofo mu mesre mo 0739920848 frɛ na fa wo question me won say obi eja voice note sa obetumi nso eja voice note ewo 07596620 no nso uja message wo ho nso a mebo ne kama ma na lawyer Eunice etumi eyi ano e de amaye enti no menkofa me first voice note wa ha telephone lines no mebie atum enti mombo modern na mo enfre me nyade wa ha my first question oh okay ma me pick we answer order for wa homa so ma pick you question no mpacha o kasa friend ma yente wonka
Hello, Pacha me.
Pacha me ne o me do.
Oh, okay.
Good morning.
We didn't present you to stand lawyer Eunice EU uniform. We did a yikapra family member. I am a family member. I am an ex-husband.
Okay.
When your cancer a serious, it's in stage 4, he's really dying.
Oh,
now,
sorry.
I worry about any hope. Now, she said, me and me one. Now, I had because the minimum one color is very, very tough for me and then color. In Chinami, to say, good lawyer say, what is the OP Abba because situation there, to say, what you mean and say, what you mean to be a man of in Chinami, the same good lawyer, the Quamben, you because so you even so near Bussy lawyer to soon as well to care us or figure out our best support because I had it.
Okay. Now on net so okay, jo with the uncle fra. And now on ne won kwala. Enti no. Oh.
be up and down. So
Yo,
it's really, really tough.
I know. Mame ma wa ho den. Yo, Lawyer Eunice, ye nua bay ni dilemma. Obey den ni ex ya. Sebio ya reboni bi aka no yi. Na opa chese stage awe du no ayɛ na ohia oboafo at least on ka ne ho kakra na obenya apomudin a wenya na yɛhwɛ ɛyɛ possible Lawyer Eunice yɛbɛtumi agyina adeɛ yi so de apɔ bi ama
I just wanted to find out what stage of cancer is it that bad? Into I know say stage 4 is like the worst.
stage 4.
You can't even walk now. It's very
Wow, wow, wow. Into I know say Kromna Yetim no, they are very should I say hands on into said
Yeah.
nimpa no oni obi na ope ohia carer.
Mm,
Usually if you go through the local council and answer or
mm,
local authority now, they should
mm,
be able to provide you with a carer who will be able to assist you in your day-to-day living. And to
mm,
say if they are not providing him with a carer, then I would need to find out why they are not doing so, because usually say or request there, they would usually provide you with a carer who is able to help you. And answer they would say ABR, the carer is only able to come this number of days in a week. Until on the other days, you may need somebody to assist you in your daily activities. Or they might say, if these are your final days, then we would transfer you to a hospice where you have 24-hour care. Into say and dear, then of course, if you are saying that maybe the local authority is only providing him some care and not on the full 7 days into so I know so usually if somebody comes on a visit, they will give them 6 months. Into visit visa there is just the 6 months that they would have. Into no ewo I know say nkrofo bisa about domestic worker, but domestic worker no, you would have to show say na uni nimpa no eye adwuma wɔ Ghana into na nipa ko no da wo payroll so into one saa nimpa no ene eba back to UK into no saa no because uni saa nimpa no na eba back to the UK into or beda wo payroll no so into no they would give them the longest period of just 1 year into that is the domestic care route, and I don't think say I mean you would meet the requirements for a no into
mm.
AB visit to be the best option for the former husband no, but he should look into contacting the local authority for carer.
But yeah. Yo, many about Pajasa out here.
try.
Yo, nyame nhyɛ mo den why mama ahoɔden na contact local authority no first na ɔmo nhwɛ nea ɔmo betumi ayɛ afa ho why so yɛ da ase yo
Okay, bye.
bye bye Kofi Akubia say my sister applied for EUSS family permit but she just got a letter to come for an interview. She was applying based on her husband, who is pre settled under the EU settlement scheme. Ne husband no na yɛ pre settled, ɛna waware no. Waware ne unua baa no. Enti yɛsi ɔmbra interview. And Eunice, Pacho, minim sɛ ɔte kɔ, my sister applied for family permit, but
Mm,
she was,
I
she,
think maybe they just want to clarify a few things because
okay.
maybe they've noticed something during the application process and see almost
Mm,
person will clarify a few things. Our real interviews, no dear, acostro, and especially where you have people saying that bia yenim your home for this amount of period yehu da ebia yeah customary marriage na mini hot time a yeah aware and I can put na wo hot time a mo yeah aware no and you've only known each other for let's say 6, they will want to call for an interview or somebody who has been married, let's say 3 or 4 times, and this is like the fourth marriage, they will want to just clarify certain things. And so there are different reasons why they will call for a marriage interview. And this is happening not just for entry clearance, because oh yeah, family permits,
Yeah.
entry clearance, it's happening in Nipa neighbor. So they're calling interviews not just for entry clearance cases, but even cases that in Chrome ha. And see the number of interviews have spiked up for such applications as well. But if they have any questions that they are not sure of, they would usually call for a marriage interview, and they would literally ask for Nimpano Ghana not to go to the visa center near Accra, which is Movenpick Hotel, no, and then they'll interview that person there. And a Nimpano UK room hand there, your friend will phone also. Now, yeah,
Mm.
I have an interview, no. It's
Okay.
usually they will just call you for an interview to clarify those things. So you need to know um, a lot in terms of what you've put on the application and who you are as family members and your extended family members and all of that. And see, it's important that you are able to get enough information to be able to answer questions now with the Bema.
Mm. Okay, la Eunice, yeah, that's me. Did you say, but member voice note we na yenti.
Good morning, Eunice. Beside question of Madam for you, of Kofa, ne stepchildren by some years ago. Now, Omoba, or no, you need to know indefinite, Omo Crano indefinite. Now, Ketwa Power, no Benya 18 years. Next January. Now, Opeso and Crana 5 years for her, or register Ketwana Omnian rating as a British citizen. Now, more application also saw Mudinya indefinite. A check or check home office power, brought mobile in one, a check almost a year and son or moon. And physically, no, maybe 5 years, a main. But time I approve or indefinite in a for the first time on the buy. A new 5 years. Into a person who said, to me, I register a crown as a British citizen. I brought 5 years, and I said, just for time, or more time at home office day, a unima or mono, Adrian Sana, or qualify for that 5 years. It was a near my family, a boy, and bye.
Okay. La Eunice, pacha.
Yeah, no, can say Nadam Fakofa Nebano Aba UK Chrome High because all indefinite intercolano senior indefinite.
Mm.
In terms of British registration applications, say Akolanin the 18 dia,
Mm-hmm.
usually they will expect say Papano, which is the EU national, either say or no why application as a British citizen into or the Nebano air can be. And I said Akolano Abia. By the time I don't know how old they are now because he said at the time no not only 18. But if they
Mm.
are still under 18 there, then they
Mm.
would have to have lived here for at least 2 years. And if they
Oh.
have lived here for at least 2 years there, they should be able to show say or
Mm.
more are integrated into UK
That's
way of
it.
life. Almost school, more yeah, courses,
Mm.
and all of that. Into some more indefinite and quantia,
Mm.
then they will be able to register as a British citizen. But somebody 18 there, that's when they are viewed as an adult and they have to meet
Adult.
the requirements as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Me did this makacha until yentie wenso.
Really, I'm saying, not saying that make friend about him. Me, Papa, British passport. And also, by or the care and by now, only that and now, one will be money now. I was meaning this now. But you, or the and I say, you can say, and I'm saying, Papa, oh, Roman cookies. Is there any way, Bema Obama, and I said, Nana, Nana, a better so ending up, and that's it.
Man, should I say beginning no?
Till say meba mami yin free honum. Say nip oba biaba with ye you can say
Deal
care
breaker.
yibi.
Okay.
But oba wabewo 3 months ni. Nti obisa is there any way akola na ya wono no. Ni nana ye British. Obetumi aye agye akola no ntem se sa nana or kabana message bi eso so nti menhwe se the same thing na say message na nana or kanon patroti. Mabel. Into way a different one. The first
Oh,
one.
okay. In terms of akolana, ya won't know yet 3 months no.
Mm.
When you are saying say or nana no British into or nana no ebi
Uh-huh.
obetumi aye bibi ama no dia.
Uh-huh.
Usually the only thing under your immigration rules say ebi a onana no we hu say mame no enya ade a obetumi ahwe akola no
Colano.
nti chiso no ene obetumi ahwe akola no nti evidence of court order e kire say yama ne 2 million say
Oh.
on tra akola no.
Mm.
Then that is where the grandmother can come in. And
Okay.
see, if the grandmother was an EU national, yeah, that would be a
Mm.
different story. And when they say on an no application no ama akolano. But
Okay.
here's the case where the grandmother
Mm.
is British national, and see,
Mm.
unfortunately, grandmother no will not be able to help the
Oh.
child in that way. Um, I mean, if the father
Na
of the child
nti
were
akwalaa no
British,
ɔbɛyɛ dɛn sɛ ne father no may assume sɛ father no nso ɔno nso kita ne dependent on the skill worker ne so nti
yeah.
no ɔmo aba no ɛno saa na akwalaa no deɛ na ɔse ɛyɛ ma no nti na ɔno ɔnya nkrataa.
Debbie Inti said, "Oh, mommy was skilled worker visa now. Obey biama akolano.
Ɔno nso bɛnya
Unless
skill work.
yes, unless the mother is saying say, nan the no be we won't renew mano. Then
Oh,
that's where the issue will come in."
okay. Wow. Yo ɛneɛ ɛno ano no yɛnhwɛ second one a ɔde kaa ho no meba.
Sorry, I'm in ye.
Wow. Sɛ wo nuaba wote ɔse ne nua wɔ
Mhm.
yiyu ne bi wɔ ha na ɔpɛ sɛ ɔnkɔfa ne nuaba. Okay, so nipa no wɔ ha o. Ɛna ɔpɛ sɛ ɔyɛ yiyu ne ɔpɛ sɛ ɔnkɔfa ne nuaba a wanya 20 years. Anaasɛ baako nso wɔ Asia. Ɔno nso sɛ ɔkɔ school sɛ ɔyɛ dɛn wɔ Asia. Wankyerɛ Asia borɔno no so. Enti no ɔmo mo hwan ɛna yɛn maame anaa yɛn papa a ɔwɔ ha yi a ɔwɔ yiyi nkrataa yi obetumi akɔfa ɔmo aba.
Okay, see, yeah, education and then no, make
Mm.
sure who a joining family member
Yeah.
is. See, a joining family member is obia or yeah, we yere ana wuknu.
Okunu.
Ana se woba ana we yere eba.
Mm.
Ana se wo yere mami ana se wo yere papa ana se wuknu mami ana se wuknu papa. Ana
Mm.
se wona nanom your grandchildren. Into
Okay.
and direct family
Immediate.
members and joining family members.
Mm.
Into no sano say also start bad there and unfortunately toss our line also.
Mm.
Yes. Into it
Okay.
has to be a direct family member in terms of who we EU nino.
Mm.
One kakakuba and I say wukunu emba. Yeah.
Okay. Nti me nua a wotie me sɛ ɛno na lawyer Eunice ama mpatwɔ did producer question bi mpatwɔ fa to board ne so ma me kakra why. Okay, ɔse edi wei deɛ menhu so is it Lalita?
Lalita.
Oh, wodin Edo. Ɔse a friend with 4 months old baby who is in the UK without Enkrata and her dad, Pachomeba, why? And her dad is a British citizen, can there be a way the dad can make an application or anything for her to get an inkrata?
Okay.
Eunice, inkrata be more.
Okay, in terms of, I think so she was trying to be discreet. Into akola now with the 4 months yen can say ne papa British. And no they simple. So akola ne papa is British, yeah, and they are no kasa no obe to me apply for British book ama akola no. Because in British Nationality Act they say so we are minor na of course wawo for umame and also papa ekita British citizenship and as a settled and as indefinite leave to remain there, then they can also apply for one cast British citizenship because we are British. In no no san because ya wo akola no wo krom ha ne nti obetumi apply for British book ama akola no. Say ye wo akola no wɔ outside UK dia na ka obeye registration and sana why British book no. Nti that option of the child getting their British book no there obetumi aye na as soon as possible.
Yo, nkratasɛm deɛ nkratasɛm o. Ɛlɔ Eunice, me a mewɔ question baako a matwerɛ anɔpɛ a no asɛn ne yɛambɔ 6 o'clock kora wasɛn ne abrɛ me sɛ membɔ mmɔden a na membisa mma no. Me nua bɛrima bi wɔ ha na ɔwɔ British passport, like ɔyɛ citizen na gye sɛ n'ani afi kakra. Afei na nyame adom wenya ɔbaa bi wɔ Ghana. Ɔsi, ei, wei deɛ girl yi ohun ni photo na ɔhwɛ na ɔsi kaish ne school old school mate ɔsi girl yi sɛnea ne ho ayɛ akɔnɔ yi deɛ ɔkɔ akɔware no na kyerɛ sɛ tam a ɔmo wɔ school Ghana no ɛm sɛ ɔne ne twetwe mpena kakra na ɔno bɛhyɛ mu abɛhyɛ mu a over 20 years ni afei na wasa girl na resurface ɔsi kai girl wei deɛ ɔngyaa na ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkɔware no ɛna wabɛto wabɛhu me sɛ ɔpamitwa ɔmanyɛ tii afei na me nsa aka me fi padeɛ na mɛyɛ dan me ɛne 28,000 pep 29,000 ɔsi me ɛne 29,000 ma rent me a me hɔ kyerɛ sɛ mebɔ adwuma kama na aka sɛ ɔbaa no bɛba bɛhwɛ nkwan ama me ɛnti Leonis ɔsi me ma no step by step kwan a ɔbɛfa so a ɔbɛtumi akɔfa ɔbaa yi aba na yere yi ɔsɛ ɔkɔ fie na ɔnkɔware no anaasɛ ɔbɛmi etumi aware no wɔ fie na ɔbaa no abɛka ne nsa wɔ ha na nti ɔpɛ sɛ ɔtie ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ no guidelines nea ɔwɔ sɛ ɔyɛ na ɔmbɔ mmɔden a ɔnkɔfa ne yere ne mbra.
Okay, into say yes, step by step there, and there you eventually program with so. But in terms of the fact that also perhaps so or in panel,
Uh,
of course, so to me, coffee. I know say not 20 years ago no unim no, but
uh,
20 years ago no,
uh-huh.
and yes at time now. Oh yeah, we're doing so by worrying.
Oh, I don't- okay.
It will be good to show say what sign alcohol biom
Mm,
and you are doing the wedding or the ceremony to show say uh
mm,
most time per mahonti what percent more worry.
okay.
Of course there will be communication between the two of them into whether
Mm,
it's phone calls or messages. There will
mm,
be that communication which they would need to provide in
mhm,
terms of the more application or into as well as the marriage certificates. They will need to provide evidence of more communication to show say
mm,
our no ampa and koso into
okay.
the relationship is subsisting. And so
Right.
of course, once they are able to show, say, this is evidence of their relationship, no, now
Mm,
almost other documents to show, say, Papa no meeting the financial requirements, the pay
mm,
slips for 6 months, the bank statements for 6 months, any a dreaming letter, and then accommodations or rent and the tenancy agreements, no, or the back home, and then
mm,
evidence of the fact that lady no so either say our undergraduate degree active for a confirm say emiti ye English standards ɛwɔ UK kurom ha
and
anaasɛ ɔbaa no bɛyɛ saa IELTS exams.
B1 ni bi.
A1 in so your skilled worker or as our
Ah, ah,
say
okay.
under the our roots na the A1,
Hmm.
and then she will have to
A1
put the
dear.
paper courses. A1 here is very simple. It's just speaking and listening.
Ah,
Very,
we dear senior again the rattle broth we dear yeah he was.
very
Ọ
simple. So
kasa kasa British akwala na just say also munya sa communication evidence na nti
yeah,
no
yeah.
through WhatsApp na ọma twa ne photo na ọma de aba
I'm going to make
any
screenshot.
video
I'm going to
calling.
send it to their email. Into they have either the option of screenshotting or sending communication to email to be printed. Yeah.
And no or say yeah up to how many months?
Well, it depends. Into for instance, most I'd say relationship, in August last year. You
Hmm.
can show evidence from August last year, and then
Hmm.
you add your marriage certificate.
Hey. And there's a telephone number ni yira no okoya fufura. Ɛbɛyɛ yire o. Me nua
Mhm.
bɛrima sɛnea yɛaka no no saa wae nti ɔbaa no bɔ mmɔden no ne ntwa nkɔmmɔ a ɛmu ɔden na wobɛkɔ a na Eunice wakɔ bɛyɛ 4 years ago aba a na ɛkyerɛ sɛ wakɔ Ghana aba a ɛno no ɔbɛtumi aka sɛ ɔkɔɔyɛ na ɔkɔyɛɛ ne ho adeɛ ansa na nti ɛno saa no ɛni sɛ ɔsan akɔ biom anaasɛ still a no um, me ho if there is an
Okay, so
evidence
in
say
terms of
wakɔ Ghana recently
mhm.
ɛna wakɔhyia ɔbaa no a then ɛni sɛ ɔkɔ no ɔsan kɔkɔ yɛ awareɛ no.
Okay, so in terms of you saying 4 years into alcohol 4 years ago, and Abia Omokoware, I mean they'll be asking why haven't you gone again within the last 4 years? So
Okay.
that should also be on the mind of unknown. So is
Mm.
there a very
Yeah.
should I say
Mm.
specific reasons here on
Mm.
call in the last 4 years? And
Okay.
also in terms of the fact that our Riano, if he's saying that he married 4 years ago, when did they meet? Or when did
Mm.
the relationship start? Because they've met before when they were in school, but when did the relationship start? In
Mm.
worry 4 years ago, when did the relationship start in 2018? Do you have evidence that the relationship started in 2018 before you got married? So
Mm.
all of that needs to come into play. Yeah.
Ɛyɛ ɔmo gyaeɛ no ɔmo kora ɔmo nyɛ online dating na kyerɛ sɛ no ahu na no aware no. Okay, yeah, producer family last question it was na afei me invite our latest in town yɛ lawyer foforɔ a yɛnya no no ɛmbɛma yɛ mpɔtɔ mu kasa deɛ no ɔse Ed Kojo Boako a friend is pre-settled holder. He married to EU national, but their marriage broke down after 3 years and some months. My friend has divorced the marriage. He wants to find out how can he do retain right. Okay, he doesn't have any document from his ex-wife. He only know his national insurance. No, okay, knows his national insurance number. Can you please advise him? Oh, awaregyae nso deɛ ɛyɛ a na ne nsɛm bɛba o. Yes, Linus, obetumi 3 years. Ɔmonya 3 years a na ogyaa awareɛ yi uni ɔwɔ pre-settled ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkɔyɛ settled status. Ɔbaa yi nso de ne biribiara akɔ. Ne ɛna ɛpɛ na ɔkae ɔbɛrima yi kae. Ɔbɛyɛ dɛ aretaining the right.
Okay, and since someone worry for that 3 year period, now or cannot, then of course he can apply for retained rights of residence. In no Sano, you are showing say Mutsna UK Kroma at least 1 year. Mawari no last stay at least 3 years. And mawari no eja no na oda so at UK Kroma. Into if he's able to show these three things, that they were living together for that period, and that their marriage lasted at least 3 years, and of course, Omujaya Wariano not that's to Chrome her, he can apply for the retained rights. In regards to putting in that application, retained rights of residence is to show that circumstances no Asisa. I don't know when he was first granted in the 5 years, but if he was granted 5 years pre-settled status 5 years ago, yeah, then they will look into giving him settled status. But say a idea in the 5 years no so yeah, then they will give him retained rights based on the current status. Into if he has pre-settled, then they would give him another 5 years limited leave to remain into Sanet here.
ɔbɛda ase megye di sɛ ɔtie yɛ ɔnya mfiri so afei na obi bisa sɛ ɔbɛtumi aba mo aso ɛyɛ no without appointment anaa megye di sɛ ade no ahia wo nko a appointment na ɛnyɛ email o ɛyɛ phone call kɛkɛ ɛnti no wodeɛ frɛ na ka kyerɛ m sɛ woba sɛnea ɔbɛnya berɛ ade ama wo but wokɔ hɔ nso a ɔmo nka sɛ woaba nti kɔyɛ nhwɛ wo ɛba ne emergency a their doors are open 24/7 wokɔ a ɔmɛtumi ahwɛ wo gye sɛ wokɔ na nkurɔfoɔ wɔ hɔ a ɔsɛ wotwɛn kakra na lɔ Eunice mema reply
It's of course. So Obana umbuki appointment yebenya obi asho. Ebia if the lawyers are busy, obetasa kakra atre omuna omwehu. But it's always best to book an appointment. Senya at least train the
ɛnkyɛ
baby. Yeah.
okay yɛda ase ɔtwɛn honhom deɛ ɛnyɛ obia na ɛwɔ bio nti no wobɛkɔ hɔ na wote hɔ na yɛnya nhwɛ wo a woanhwɛ a na wo bu astarte ifo ba obiaa ɔtwɛn honhom no it takes only few a ɔmowɔ bi nti no ɛyɛ wobɛtumi akɔ but wofrɛ nso anka ɛyɛ na yɛagya mmerɛ no de ama wobaeɛ a hwem na wakɔhu lɔya no na wokusɛn nti aha na sɛ mo a mobaa so no momfa nkyɛ me Sandra mekyiakyia o Teresa nyame nhyira o Sari Fraser nyame nhyira o yɛka sɛ Auntie Helena nyame nhyira o Abedi Carlos ɔse my brother needs to register his company to be able to sponsor someone Uncle Ben ayɛ yɛka ne sɛ yɛfrɛ ne sɛ wayɛ step by step guidelines a wobɛtumi a register o company a wobɛtumi de afa obiara employ even wayɛ neɛ woyɛ skill worker mpo a ahokyerɛ abɛtɔ mu a wobɛtumi nso asponsor wo ho wakyerɛ guidelines no how to go about things however if you still want this information lawyer Eunice bɛtumi mmerɛ no kɔ but yɛbɛhwehwɛ yɛka ne sɛn and I contact them and then I believe they can take you through that DJ Akoto better late than never DJ nyame nhyira wonyɛ late koraa ne nyinaa wobɛtumi abɔ yɛka ne sɛ reverse na wabɔ replay na kyerɛ sɛ waplay na wokɔ anim me introduce yɛn latest in town fresh in town yɛnua ba lawyer and Akofi and last week I got your name wrong but I have to me why now me memory nyɛ saa sharp nansen yo ɛm sɛ me yada dodo Akofi Sowa
Thank you very
welcome
much.
and congratulations to you.
Thank you, Madam Maniati. I'm very grateful.
Yes, so let me
Good
leave
morning.
you first the English version of today's program and after that we call it a day.
No problem. All right. So, good morning again to all our viewers, and thank you for sticking with us until the end. So, the topic for today was: can my pre settled application be rejected, even though I am a family member of an EU national? And the answer is yes, it can be. It depends on your circumstances, which is why it's important to instruct a solicitor to begin with. So today we talked about the fact that there was a transition period. Of course, when the UK left the EU, they basically put a provision in place whereby EU nationals could switch to the EU settlement scheme in order for them to be able to remain in the UK lawfully. So the deadline for applying to the EU settlement scheme was the 31st of December 2020, but they created a grace period. So they extended the deadline until the 30th of June 2021. So any EU national or their adjoining family member who did not apply under the EU settlement scheme by the 30th of June 2021, they now have to explain why their application is late. So if they provide an explanation which is not good enough in the eyes of the Home Office, then the application will be invalid. So today we looked at who is a joining family member of an EU national. So if someone is here in the UK, an EU national, and they're here under the EU settlement scheme, they can invite certain family members. Initially, they could invite extended family members, but that has now changed. So they can only bring to the UK their children, their spouse, or their parents. And what is important is that the relationship must have been formed before December 2020. So that's a very important thing to note. So if, for example, you adopted a child, you should have adopted them before December 2020. So the relationship must have been established before then. We also looked at what makes an application valid. So first of all, you'd have to submit the correct application form. There are so many online, so you have to make sure that you complete the EUSS application form. You need to have a valid ID, passport, and you have to make sure that it's in date. You also have to attend your biometric appointment whereby they take your fingerprints, etc. And you, again, if the application is late, you'd have to explain why it is late. So there is a legal test which caseworkers consider. So they will ask themselves on the balance of probability whether there are reasonable grounds for why the application is late. So in the Home Office guidance, they have set out reasonable grounds and what wouldn't be reasonable. So they said that if someone does not speak English and for that reason they didn't apply, that is not good enough. Or if it's because of COVID, that too they wouldn't consider. So what constitute reasonable grounds according to the Home Office? So firstly, if someone had existing leave at the time of the deadline, then that is fine. So let's say someone was in the UK as a skilled worker on the 30th of June 2021. They had valid leave. So for that reason, they didn't really have to do much. But if now, for example, the person wants to switch to the EU scheme because they are married to an EU national, they are allowed to do that. Or even if the applicant had some type of critical medical condition at the time of the deadline, let's say they were in hospital, they were in a coma, or they had some type of serious operation, anything of that sort, they can also rely on that. But in the Home Office guidance, it states that the caseworker, they will look to see how long the person was unwell for. So let's say the person had an operation and they are now fine. The caseworker will question, so why is it now that you're submitting the application? If you were fine, let's say in 2022, why is it now that you're submitting the application? So that's something to take into consideration. Also, if the applicant was in an abusive or controlling relationship whereby their partner prevented them from submitting the application, the applicant would be able to rely on that reason as long as they have evidence to that effect. Or even if the person was in prison and so they couldn't gather the relevant documents, or they couldn't attend the biometric appointments, they can rely on that too. And if someone was a child at the time of the deadline and, for example, that their parents didn't know about the scheme and for that reason the parents didn't apply for the child who now would be an adult can rely on that their parents just simply didn't put in an application for them. So those are the reasonable grounds according to the Home Office. So if you put in an application and the Home Office believes that you haven't provided a reasonable ground as to why the application is late, in that case, you have three options available, as Lawyer Eunice said. So firstly, you could put in another EUSS application since they are free of charge. That would be the first option, and then you could maybe provide a better reason this time around. or you could go for administrative review or judicial review. And I'm just competing, but in terms of judicial review, how it works is that you have to write a pre-action protocol letter, basically to challenge the Home Office's decision that your application is not valid. And you'd have to wait for a response. You normally have 90 days from the date of when they said that the application is not valid. You'd have normally 90 days from that period to apply for judicial review. So you'd have to complete the application online using a form called UTIAC1. You'd have to pay for the application fee as well, which is £169. Grounds would have to be drafted normally by a barrister. So it's a whole process, which is why it's good to instruct solicitors to deal with this type of matter. So that is just a quick summary for today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you to my dear sister. Yes, say ahana emre be my ho kwan na yedi dwumadie no abawie. Mo amote lawyer Annie Mutenenka we gyina court na rattle hwan na betumi win a channel obe win cases yes into congratulations biom. We are still on the breast cancer awareness month. They sound bomokoko mo amohwe me no mo de ambon de ro. Let's try to detect it earlier to avoid it being spreading all over our system. Nyame enka ye ho. La Eunice, ye be sorry ako, e de na odbeja ye.
I really like the fact that breast cancer awareness. Who they real know. Our first caller was somebody who had a family or and in Kolane Papa AOB. He's currently going through this, and so I feel that we shouldn't shy away from letting people know that we need support, we need some care, and
Yeah,
sometimes when somebody is going through this, because it's a very very sensitive issue, into most people don't even want anybody to know because they feel say people will be in their business and I say and feel sorry but
yeah,
I also feel that we are a community, and so
that's
a community should be there to support each other. And
that's
in sharing this, she was able to know the way forward in terms of getting support now being here ama in Kolane Papa. So
mm,
it's something that I think that in our community we shouldn't just keep things to ourselves, but
yes.
even the fact that you share it, it
Mm,
feels like a burden has been lifted. I
mm,
always feel like that when I share a burden. It's like a burden has been
lifted.
lifted
Yes.
because I've been able to share that with somebody, and now I'm able to see clearer. I'm
Mm,
not holding on to any baggages, but I'm able to let go and then
mm,
see the way forward as well. And so it's very good that we share our, should I say, pains and sufferings as well. Not just the good times, but
yes.
through sharing, we are also able to receive some form of comfort and peace about the situation as well. It's of course, going back to Yejumede, if there is anything that you feel say as lawyers yɛbɛtumi aboa wo nso so a yɛwɔ ha ma mo. The office number is on the screen. Bianca Sami number so 075 3581 3910. Nti sɛ mopɛ sɛ mo ne yɛn edi nkitaho regarding an issue that you may have, or you feel that ɛsɛ wobɛhu yɛn na yɛtumi ɛboa wo in one way or the other there, and yɛwɔ ha ma mo. Yɛbɛtumi ebuki telephone consultation anaasɛ mobɛtumi aba face to face. Nti yɛda mo nyinaa ase. Nyame ɛnka mo ne nyinaa. Nyame nso ɛma yɛn dasɛndɛ na yɛsan ahyia bio.
Yo, next week, same time, same place. Ebe say share. It's here for yebeda mo nyinaa ase. Ochina the community and the law eba so many abema oreku any ye lawyers ne ba kon betena say no we din komo. We always bringing you different topics, different headlines. Senior ebeya question bi wo so adane wo adwendwen, adane wo kwadanda ohun ne senior eko. Pomodi akohu BWF Solicitors na ombedi ama ukọ from na ukọ abotre omene obetena se no ma hwew senior tie bia ehuhuhu de cry suesi ho a ebedwo enti no ye de adwumedie no ebeba ewieye megide se weni aso na weni aso so keep on sharing, keep on liking our page and go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and then press the notification button in case of any videos that we come on live or upload. You'll be the first person to be notified. Have a lovely weekend. Na bomodi anahwe weather na start sisa ente ya na mo hye mo ho ye na code ni nam covid enkoye e da so chiche nkrofo. Just be safe out there. God bless us all. Bye bye.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340 or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.